Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome once again to another live stream. This is the Karen Bashford hang on, Empowerment Mentor Show. Good Lord. Sorry about that, folks. We cover topics that are relevant to people, specific women of a certain age, help them find their way back to themselves by referencing what's already within them. So it's not external agency, it's more internal waking up. And Karen acts as not so much an alchemist, more of a person who helps prompt that relationship to grow. However, a while back, how long has it been since Lothal Beaver? 6
It
months?
went live in August. So,
August.
Yeah.
Oh no. So for nearly 5 months ago, was the birth or the commercial birth of the Sloth or Beaver Toolkit. A toolkit that helps you navigate the way through life through asking questions and hopefully finding insights. I certainly use it at home semi-regularly. I would say once every 2 weeks we sit down with it and we ask a new set of questions. It's never ending, and the questions can often be referenced again because life changes. It can be a way of getting closer to the people you hold dearest, or even find your way and navigate through the path of people who have become part of your friendship crew, as it were. And it's been really interesting. It certainly opened up thoughts and portals and ideas that we'd never really touched on before. It's not been a test of friendship. It's actually deepened friendship between myself and my wife, for instance. However, today we're going to talk about something which I find intriguing because it's something I'm never quite sure about myself. Love, curiosity, and playfulness. Now, I find love very difficult to define anyway for myself because it's not a transactional thing. You certainly can't have 50% more love or 10% less love. But you certainly know when you don't have it. And it seems to mean slightly different things to different people. But the curiosity and the playfulness thing. Now, I can get behind curiosity because curiosity is something that helps me navigate my life because it's only by that I find new information. Playfulness, not quite sure about. So, Karen, welcome to the show. Can you explain to me what you mean by love, curiosity, and playfulness?
Okay. Love is something that makes us feel happy. When we are loved by somebody, we feel happy because we're recognized as a person that's worthy of receiving care and attention. But that should apply to ourselves anyway. We should show love to ourselves through giving ourselves the care and attention that we need. And
Right.
in doing so, we actually feel safer. And when we feel safer, we're more inclined to take risks. We're more inclined to actually allow ourselves to express what really matters to us.
All right. So, because I see so many people who receive those things almost by reflection in other people's eyes. So if they see their own self-worth as defined by how people see them. And what you're saying here is you should be giving yourself that stuff irrelevant to what other people think.
Yes. We need to actually show to ourselves what we want to show to other people.
Yeah, therein lies the rub. Especially when you're dealing either in business or personally with other people who you're not entirely sure what they think of what you do or how you do it or who you are as a personality. And yet you what you're saying is you need to give yourself all those positive stimuli and support irrelevant of that. It's quite hard to do, I think.
Yes, but if you practice, like anything, when you practice, you get better. And the more you actually realize that you're deserving of having that sense of self-love, of recognizing that it doesn't matter what's going on in your world, you're always going to be the one person that matters to you, not anyone else, to you. You actually start to see that things can change for you.
Well, now that all sounds very reasonable, but playfulness worries me, because that, to me, playfulness means you're not really taking it seriously. Or have I got that
You
wrong?
are. You are. A child is very, very serious when it plays, but it's playfulness. It will literally just allow itself to experience life, because that's how it learns. And that's how, as adults, we need to start learning that we can actually enjoy what we do, but still be serious, because we're prepared to be curious as well as, okay, so let's have some fun with this. I actually did a podcast on Wednesday, recorded one, that was literally focused on fun, because I think we forget that we need to have fun in our lives. And business doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be hard. We can still enjoy business, still have fun with it, and still have that childish playfulness without harming our relationships where business partners are concerned and such like. In actual fact, you probably find that they improve, because you have a side of you that comes out that isn't quite so serious.
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because it's certainly in business, you need to be very intentional about what you do. So often there's no room for playfulness.
But
There's
there
no room.
is, though, because if you have intention, you can have playful intentions. So instead of being all really hard level focused, you can actually release tension, because you're both going to feel tense when you're in business dealing with somebody, because, as you say, you don't know how they're going to react. You're not sure what they're going to say and how you're going to react. But if you bring an element of playfulness into it,
Right.
you actually start relaxing. So things become easier. You're not constantly tensed and stressed out. How are they judging me? If you're prepared to just look at yourself as a child would and see something that allows you to realize you don't have to be this hugely serious person, it makes such a difference to how you do business.
But people struggle to trust people who come across as not serious about their chosen topic.
But you can still have that relaxed element.
It sounds like
And
a very good balancing act, though, isn't it?
it is in some ways, but then again, if you practice enough, you'll get used to doing it. But the one thing you need to ask yourself is, how much do I love doing what I do? Because if you love something, it's not hard work. Even when you're supposed to be serious, you can still have that relaxed feel, because you're not stressed out. So what if somebody judges you and it's not quite what they're expecting? They'll adjust. All right, initially we want people to judge us as we are. We go networking, and you walk into a room and you can see people reacting because you're perhaps not the kind of person they're expecting. But that doesn't mean to say that if you're true to yourself, they're not going to accept you, because you're not trying to be false. And I think this is the trouble. We've got so used to somebody not being who they really are. Somebody who is, we automatically think something's wrong.
I think
the more that we relax, the less that is likely to happen.
There seems to be a fashion at the moment where people spout anything, and whether it's the truth or not, and therefore it can make it very hard to want to exude love, curiosity, or any of those other things when you feel like you're sitting on shifting sands.
But then life is shifting sands all the time. And this is the trouble. I think personally, as a human being, when I was prior to my nervous breakdown, I was constantly on edge.
Right.
Because I was always expecting somebody to find fault with me, to assume that I was assuming I had to be perfect. And actually, nobody can be perfect, least of all the time. And I'm being told now that they appreciate my calmness, that they appreciate the fact that I can laugh at myself because it's so unusual. But that's the trouble. We've got so used to people behaving in a certain way that
Yes.
when you're faced with something that's slightly different, you either want to pull back or you lean in because it feels so much better.
I think
And
it feels like a relief. It
Yes.
feels like a relief.
Yes.
I tend to mix the whole variety of people, and some of them find it very hard not to take themselves very seriously. And I know they're good people underneath it all, but it's almost like you want to unfurl them a little bit, just relax into it. And it can be very hard. And this can lead to also perceptions being quite wrong. It's a human quality, a normal human quality, to judge as you meet someone, first impressions and all that.
Well, the thing about it is we're energetic beings, so we will pick up on somebody's energy. And if that person is all over the place, really stressed out, you're going to pick up on that. So that's going to make you feel like that. Even in a business environment where you've got somebody sitting opposite you that's like, how are you going to relax? How are you going to come across? Because you're automatically reacting to their energy. Whereas if you're actually centered and calm in yourself, they will begin to calm down. And it makes
you should take the lead. You should take the lead in. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It makes conversation so much easier.
All right. Well, I think what I want to do is relate this to sloth or beaver. And before I do that, I'm just going to put a little ticker on the bottom. So if anybody wants to find out more about this thing we keep referring to, sloth or beaver, and what this show really is at the moment predicated on, Karen, would you be able to find a couple of cards from within the toolkit?
Unfortunately not, because they're all packed up at the moment. I totally forgot to get any out. My apologies, but I can talk about it quite happily because I know all the questions.
Of course you do. But so can you give me an example of the kind of question that might help you look inward and see whether or not you can magnify that playfulness, that curiosity?
Okay, so when was the last time you laughed at yourself?
Probably this morning, actually. But yeah, I'd been looking for something for ages. My glasses, I put them down, and then I realized they're actually on top of my head.
Yeah.
I spent 10 minutes looking for the glasses, and they were there all the time. It's
okay.
Yes.
So that is a brilliant example of how you can start to look after yourself and love yourself, because laughter allows your body to relax anyway.
Yes. I don't think I could get through the changes that have been going on both in my life and also in just the government created, the recent budget and all the rest of it. I don't think I can get through that without some level of humor. Otherwise, I think you just curl up and disappear. But yes, you're quite right. It is.
But it's about seeing the humor, even when you think of all the government situations that are going on. If you can find some kind of humor in that, instead of taking life so seriously, if you can find something to laugh about, you know, you only have to read some of the things that are said, about what's going on, and you're sitting there thinking, okay, so they're stating like, I truthfully, I'm terrible. I have not looked at the budget or anything like that, because my attitude is,
you're probably not helping yourself by looking at the budget. It's not helpful at the moment. So I think you're probably doing
precisely.
yourself. Yes.
So you've got to find. I suppose for me, laughter and laughing at myself is about things that I do that really I shouldn't be doing. Like, I tend to fall over myself. Yeah, I'm just literally just walking and then suddenly I'm falling over myself. My feet get in the wrong position or something like that.
Yeah, I recognize
It's a
that when I
shock.
do that myself. I do that myself. Heather says I find the ground deceptively flat.
Yes. And consequently, laugh at that, because when you're laughing, you're actually acknowledging that you can relax and have that playfulness in you. And playfulness is only what children do. If you think back at your childhood and the things you did in your childhood, you wouldn't question standing up and falling back down on your backside when you were first starting to learn.
Quite right.
You'd laugh because it's fun. And it's things like that. I'm not suggesting that you could practice that as an adult.
Probably not. Certainly not in public. Yes.
But it's silly things. It's like you go to grab something and suddenly realize, why am I here? Laughing at yourself because you can't remember something. We all do it.
Yeah.
But if you're not so serious about life, you can find pleasure in things like that. Yeah, you might curse yourself and say you're stupid or something like that. But still being able to laugh will help you. And
I
all
think
this is
we're all momentarily stupid at times. We do. We look back on it and think, really, But all right. So I'm going to draw people's attention to a couple of things because we're going to be winding the show up shortly. So before I do that, QR code in the top right hand corner, that will take you to Sloth or Beaver. Also, there's a link down the bottom. Please take advantage of that. The Sloth or Beaver Toolkit is an excellent tool to help you find more about yourself. So one person can use it, a group of people, up to 6 people can use it. There are 6 different variations of sets of question cards. And when you get one, and one kit costs £70, that includes a board which represents your life. Sorry, I did that again. I just gave you a discount. I didn't mean to. £75, and that gives you a board which really charts your life journey. This is more because it's not a competitive thing. It's about noticing that you're making steps forward. But you can pick up and as we do here, pick it up and put it down, and pick it up and put it down as many times as you want, because there are so many different questions in there. I believe you're working on an extra to it at the moment, which could actually even put it into give an added dimension to it, which is the journal, right?
Yes, there's going to be a 365 question journal. It's called a journal simply because, like most journals, it's got those questions in, but actually there's no space to write in it, because the idea is by using the journal, you can ask yourself questions relating to situations you're in, relating to intentions and what you need to know about those intentions. And if you've got a separate journal to write in, you can track your progress. You can actually then see, oh, I responded to this question this way. But if you get the same question a few days later, you could find that you respond to it in a different way. So you need a separate book, journal, notebook to write in, because it enables you to track what's going on and how you're progressing. Actually, a book with 365 questions in it, and you
Marvelous.
use it by holding the book, having that idea that you want the answer to, or the question you've got, or the intention, and you just let the pages flip to wherever the question is that you need to answer for what you're asking.
Marvelous.
And you always find the right question.
And when is that coming out?
Way it's progressing, probably not until January now, because it's I've got to format it with the printers and things like that. But yeah, in January.
And do we have a guide price for it?
Not at the moment, because it depends what I decide how to have it printed.
Ah, right. Yes, of course. Oh, well, look out, guys. I mean, what it shows is that she's never sitting still. She's always got new ideas and hopefully new ways of improving the way in which you see life. But I'm just going I'm almost there. The last thing I want to talk about is wellness. Now, although Sloth or Beaver has been a project for the last 5 months or so, it should be noted that Karen fundamentally is an empowerment mentor. She is all about helping people, specifically women of a certain age, find themselves. And if that's something that appeals to you, then I'd recommend that you think about looking at the KarenBashford.com website and perhaps initiate there. Also look up Karen Bashford on LinkedIn. She'll pop straight up, and just start conversations there and start talking about what it is that you want to find out more about within yourself. Because I suspect that even within the first conversation, it may inspire you to ask more of yourself. And that's always a good start to any journey, asking yourself questions. Karen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking as ever. We talk a lot. And I would say it's useful for everyone to watch these things. I've forgotten always to thank you for reminding me. There's a thing that I edit weekly, which is Karen's podcast, and I'm going to direct you there as well. So I'm going to change the QR code in the corner. That one will take you to the Empowered Women Life Leaders podcast. Now that's going to a particular Podbean site, but you'll find it's actually on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, it's all over the place. Anywhere that you might find podcasts, you will find this. I would say go back and start from the beginning. There's some really interesting interviews there. Plus, every other week, you have Karen talking about a specific topic that she feels strongly about as well. They are both also on YouTube as well. So if you want to see her resplendent in the flesh, or if you want to just hear it in your ears while you do other things, we listen to it downstairs on the kitchen speaker while we're doing preparing food for dinner. So that might be something you want to do as well. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And to all of you out there, please keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and please try and look after that mental health. Until next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.